Well, Luca, congratulations. I adore your movie.
You're so kind. Thank you.
I mean it. So first here, I was listening to your New York Film Festival Q&A where you emphasized the value of not using a shot list and how that kind of allows you to get lost in the process and then find the moment that way. So it was making me wonder, is there any particular example of you doing that on Bones and All that you're especially proud of, a scene where you really had to get lost in order to find what you needed?
But all the scenes, I would say, it's not that I want to get lost in the sense that I don't know what I'm doing. The actual opposite. I think it's about really getting to summon your point of view only in the only place that it needs to be. And you can only do that if you first and foremost see the scene happening, if you actually let the performance breathe. Once you do that and you kind of experience that, you can then decide that what you saw can only be seen from that perspective or that perspective. So in a way, it's all about faith and trust in the beauty of performance.
In that case, to build on that, is there an example where you trusted your ensemble? They did something so out of left field that you never could have imagined, and that it made you think, like, that's totally different than what I initially pictured, but that's great, and we have to go that route.
I don't know if it was about being completely different than what I pictured, because again, after I did my first feature film in 1998, and I had to put in my mind every image I wanted, and then I failed. I decided that I was not going to anticipate what I wanted, but actually open myself up to what could happen. Having said that, I would say that there are a few moments. All of these actors have been doing an amazing job, but Taylor and Timothy in Nebraska, finding the way for Lee to communicate to Maren his haunting ghosts of his past, or Maren and Sally discussing their nature, who they are, on the stairwell in Mrs. Harmon house. Those sequences were really like, wow.
I'm a big believer that Taylor in particular is one of the best working actors of her generation.
I think so.
Like, given the fact that she's already done wonderful things, but she's going to go on to do more and more. What is it about her as, a lead in your film, but also as a collaborator and a partner that you're really excited for even more directors out there to get to experience with her moving forward?
I think Taylor is a true filmmaker who collaborates in a deep way and is not afraid of going into places and bringing fragility out, unearth her own fragilities. That's something valuable for a process of filmmaking.
In general, whenever I see you talk about your work, and whenever I see anybody else talk about working with you for that matter, there's always like a really passionate calm to it. So I kind of just envision you like breezing from scene to scene with like no worries in the world. So it was making me wonder, is there any particular scene in Bones and All that had even you like circling that scene on the shooting schedule and saying to yourself, like, that might keep me up at night. That's the day I'm going to have my work cut out for me?
No, to be honest, no, not at all. Not that I think about it. No, I think we did a scene which was driving in the night, and it was laborious technically, and then the sun went up, and we had to stop it, which was quite frustrating because they were doing a great job, and then we had to shoot it again like 10 days later. That must have been the most unnerving moment, but because of the time, not because of anything else.
It's also making me wonder, in your entire body of work, looking back, is there any particular scene that you think of as the most difficult that now makes you say, like, if I was able to pull that off, I can do anything?
I did a scene in Challengers that it's a 9-minute sequence that it took us a week of shooting. And I don't know, probably 200 setups. So I did that. So I think having done that, I think I can do anything now.
200 setups is quite a bit. So
yeah.
we've talked a little bit about Taylor, but you basically have like a full ensemble of hugely talented individuals who I think make their roles uniquely their own. So when you cast these actors in these parts, which role would you say changed the most from what you read on the page to what someone did when they brought it to life in front of the camera?
I would say everyone, because, you know, like when you invite artists like actors to perform, you have to be open to what they can bring to the scene, and you want the characters that are fleshed out on a page to become real. So you have to be wanting and welcoming the change.
I hope I word this question properly. I spoke to Taylor recently, and she kind of like put this idea in my mind, because she was telling me about what she thinks makes you such a standout director. And what she was explaining to me is how like your passion for art goes beyond filmmaking. You love architecture, you love cooking, and then some. So it was making me wonder, is there any particular unrelated passion or hobby that you have that would surprise people out there to know that actually influences your work on film sets as well?
I love gardening, and I practice gardening, and gardening is about time. And you have to be incredibly patient, and you have to absolutely understand that you are nothing in the front of nature. And if you do not welcome that, and if you don't bend yourself to and bow to the nature and to time, you will fail, no matter how much money you can put into it in order to build your garden immediately. It's not going to happen. So this is like a very beautiful lesson in patience and in endeavor and in conquering someone you love or you want, the way in which you can conquer a space out of green in time.
I have the opposite of a green thumb, but I just recently sprouted like the tiniest bud out of like a pot of nothing. And I don't know, this makes me more enthusiastic.
Beautiful thing that can happen to you,
exactly.
Right?
It really is something special. So I love your work in general. I'm an especially big horror fan who is full-blown obsessed with Suspiria. So I have to ask before they kick me out of here, if you had the opportunity to make your own, to adapt, make a sequel, reboot, you name it, of any other iconic horror movie out there, which one would you choose and why?
Oh my God, that's an incredible question that I didn't prepare myself to. And oh my God, what should I do? I want to say what I want to do. I don't know. I think it would be amazing to do something about the Mummy.
The Mummy is a rock solid choice.
Yeah.
Can I ask before they make me leave, what is it that appeals to you about the Mummy and makes it something that maybe is worth another revisit nowadays?
It's a rotten body wrapped in bandages. With what inside is interesting as much as what is outside. It should be very scary and very, very terminal. And tiny. It should be tiny.
Tiny, how so?
It should be a little movie, but with a lot of depths and very scary. So I'm universal. You know, there is a Joe Dante Mummy that never happened that I feel so bad about, because Joe is such a master, and I'm sure he would have made something incredible.
I would believe that would have turned out to be incredible. And same for, we manifest things on Collider. So just by us having this conversation, we're going to will it into existence. I want to see it happen. But in the meantime, thank you for Bones and all. I loved it and cannot wait to watch it over and over and over again.
Thank you. You're so kind.